A philosopher warning the terrible consequences of a thermal war. Television internationalists are beginning to start the terrible consequences of a potential thermal war. They say that these consequences will not be those who imagine humanity, even though they admit that people in human lives will be, the cost of human lives will be enormous. And there are various natural disasters, such as the large cosmic dimensions of volcanoes, volcanic eruptions, which cause mini nuclear winters, with the extension in the atmosphere of thousands. And it's also the case that the perception of the lucky ones who die from the beginning of a nuclear war, compared to those who will be tortured for a long time later, must not be able to do so because of their country. We'd like to make the views of the great British philosopher Bertrand Russell, who in the 60s had made his strong fears of the horrible consequences of hell. Consequence of such a war, in a small book that had the title What the Future Holds. We therefore stated some of his views, which begin with the finding that the hydrogen bomb is generally 1,000 times more powerful than the atom bomb, which caused the horror. The U.S. Secretary of State in 1958, in his reign to the Pentagon, calculated that in a nuclear war between NATO and the Soviet Union, about 160 million Americans, 200 million rifles, and all the inhabitants of Western Europe and Britain would die. Now, and more prolifics are raised in many hundreds of millions of deaths that would occur in any direction. And if the rhymes who would transport the radioactive cloud as well, the clouds, everyone must receive only the physical health of the possible nuclear warfare, but also the degree of mental health that could be more than greater, the degree of health. It should be expected that many, if most were included, would have become crazy or even catastrophic. The derivations of the thermal core are mainly strontium-90, and I'm translating this at the same time I'm talking to you, and carbon-14. And these, if there is a radioactive dust in the cloud that descends into the rise of the atmosphere with slowly rising upwards. Now, as long as the doctrine of the excessive reversal of the antithesis will apply, we only fortunately would follow in the following year. Would it be a machine that could at one time destroy the whole population of the earth? Bertrand Russell says finally, wouldn't people prefer to sudden testament of life or terror every day? I do not know what horrors are being caused by us, but no one can doubt that if nothing is very radical, the scientific man is a doomed kind. In our world, there is an active and dominant disposition to the priest. He is up to now. Now, it has been said before, more than 60 years ago. Today, technology and the production of nuclear furnaces have reached their vertical, that is, it's going sky high. The balance of terror is a given. All the years that have a nuclear power tend to be in a wider regional war. All the countries that have nuclear power, with the threatening use of nuclear prerequisite, everyone is aware of the terrible consequences that could be the first time for the human race. The people of the planet think seriously in the face, and not like former British Prime Minister Theresa May, who dared to declare publicly that nuclear weapons were created so that they could be used. This I've translated from a Greek article. And God forbid that nuclear weapons were created to be used. God forbid. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support, and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.